Being the son of John Lennon was never the fairy tale the world imagined. For Julian Lennon, childhood unfolded as a slow and painful heartbreak. While the public worshipped a global icon, Julian watched his father drift into a new life with Yoko Ono, leaving him and his mother Cynthia struggling for attention, stability, and even acknowledgement. Behind the bright glow of Beatlemania was a quiet boy growing up in emotional shadows, carrying wounds no one could see. Now at 62, Julian shocked the world with 6 raw words. "I utterly hated her." Those words were not sudden anger, but the release of decades of buried pain, resentment, and betrayal that shaped his entire life. From the outside, being John Lennon's son looked magical. Fame, money, and privilege were assumed. The reality was far colder. Julian remembers being handed stickers at airport security labeled with his father's name, reminders of a man who belonged to the world but not to his own home. When John left Cynthia for Yoko, it happened abruptly. One day his father was there. The next he was gone. No goodbye, no explanation. In that moment, Julian lost more than a parent. He lost his sense of safety. Cynthia Lennon became his anchor. She worked constantly, sold personal belongings, and sacrificed comfort just to keep their lives afloat. While newspapers celebrated rock star excess, Julian wore secondhand clothes and lived modestly. School offered no refuge. Classmates assumed wealth and mocked him when they learned the truth. Teachers overlooked his struggles, blinded by his famous last name. Through it all, Cynthia shielded him, teaching him endurance, kindness, and strength under pressure. As Julian grew older, the hypocrisy became harder to ignore. The world saw John Lennon as a symbol of peace and love, but Julian saw a distant father who rarely showed up. The deepest wound came when John became a devoted parent to Sean Lennon. The son Julian watched receive the affection he had always longed for. Interviews praised John's transformation, while Julian felt erased. Rumors that Julian had been a mistake only deepened the pain. His resentment was never about jealousy, it was about invisibility. When John Lennon was murdered, the world mourned a legend. Julian mourned something far quieter, the loss of any chance for closure. Their last conversation had hinted at warmth, maybe even regret, and then it was gone forever. There was no funeral for Julian to attend, no goodbye, only silence. The final betrayal arrived through legal papers. John Lennon's will left nearly everything to Yoko Ono and Sean. Julian received a small trust, confirmation of the fear he had carried since childhood, that he did not truly matter. He fought back through a legal battle not for greed, but for dignity and acknowledgement. Though a settlement was reached, it never healed the emotional damage. Behind it all was Julian's long, tense conflict with Yoko Ono. She controlled John's legacy and represented the life that replaced him. Over time, exhaustion softened the anger. Julian did not fully forgive her, but he chose peace over rage. Especially for the sake of his bond with Sean, that relationship became his lifeline. Despite growing up in opposite worlds, the brothers found understanding, connection, and healing in adulthood. Breaking free from the Lennon shadow was Julian's hardest battle. Music brought constant comparisons, so he expanded into photography, writing, and environmental work. In those spaces, he became his own person. Julian Lennon's story is not about neat forgiveness or perfect endings. It is about survival, resilience, and learning to live with pain without letting it define you. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin, like the video, and turn on notifications so you never miss the untold truths behind the legends.